Hey y'all, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you were all doing well, and I hope you enjoyed the first two videos of this weekend. And the final video for this week is all about what to expect at your first eye appointment for diabetes, kind of what the process is like of getting a fully dilated eye exam, my first impressions, and kind of how I would interpret these things and go about taking care of your eyes. As you guys know, diabetics need to take care of their eyes, need to watch their blood sugars to make sure we're not damaging the back of our eyes, our retinas, getting glaucoma, and having swelling at the back of our eyes. Very important we watch those. I did do a whole video on diabetic complications for Diabetes Awareness Month, so go check that out. It is in a playlist titled Diabetes Awareness Month, November 2018, so go feel free to check out that video. And I explain more of what happens to our eyes if they're not taken care of. But first of all, you need to find yourself an optometrist or an ophthalmologist that's really going to look into your eyes and is going to be able to do a full retinal examination. Retinal meaning retina. I have an ophthalmologist, I believe. Yes, I do. An ophthalmologist. She's great. They kind of signed me up again with a doctor so quickly because all this kind of just threw on me really fast. And I really like her. I'm recommending her to any of my family or my friends or whoever may have the similar insurance as I have or have her as an in-network doctor to go see her. She's fantastic. Her daughter actually has type 1 diabetes, so I've been able to learn kind of a little bit from her and kind of the aspects of A1C to correlation to A1C versus having eye damage later on in the future. So I'll get more into that after, but first thing you're going to do is you're going to obviously go in and you're going to meet with some sort of tech, optical tech. They're going to be performing most of the stuff. It's just the major like eye, the retinal exam and like the stuff that has to do with the back of the eye is mainly what the ophthalmologist is going to talk about, and they also discuss sugars with you, your blood sugars and that, and any damage they might see. But the optic tech is going to take you into a room, at least with me, they took me into one small room where they basically test your peripheral vision by making you stick your head down into a machine, and all these different things light up in all of these different corners of a gray square, and you're supposed to tap whatever side you see it on to make sure that you can see out of your peripheral vision out of both of your eyes. And then there's also one too where you play with the depth perception, where you have a small focused little picture. For me it was a little farm. They basically look right at it and you're supposed to like click when you see it come into focus. They want to make sure that you can judge depth and the perception, and that is all good. And then for me, they took me into the room with the chair that you kind of sits back, and it's kind of like a big fancy looking dental like chair, but it's obviously not a dental chair, it's a eye examination chair. And they basically put you in front of the chair, put the lenses in front of you, and make you read all the letters like you do at a normal doctor's appointment, where you read, is this line, X, Y, Z, J, 0, and then they make you keep reading further and further down until they figure out what your vision's at. And they usually hand you a piece of paper or a manual card, and they have you read the very bottom line to test your close-up vision. And then they often will ask you your family history, if you have any glaucoma, macular degeneration, edema, any issues with like retinal detachment, or any other strange eye conditions they want to be aware of in case there's a genetic component. My only thing was cataracts, but that's fairly common. Most people will end up with cataracts eventually, but those are very heavy in my family, as with many families, but I don't have any of the like glaucoma or macular degeneration running in my family. They often will take a history with you. Please be honest with them. Obviously, the more honest you are, the more open and accurate they can be in treating you as you go down the road if you continue to stay with this group of ophthalmologist group. So then after that, they basically prep your eyes for the glaucoma test and the eye pressure test. So first of all, they're going to put in the numbing solution. At least with me, they're going to put in like a numbing solution that kind of turns your eyes yellow, and it feels really cold, and then they're going to hook you up to a machine or have your head sit into a machine with your chin on a certain platform, and they're going to have you look straight, and you're going to get one laser sent through each eye. This laser does not hurt you. That's why you are numbed. It is instant numbing with these topical drops that are put on you. Basically, the laser goes through your eye, your whole entire eye, and it measures the eye pressure through each of those eyes, and then they can determine based upon if that number or that ratio is abnormal whether or not you have glaucoma or high eye pressure. Then after that's done, the numbing drops are in. They do that first so that when the dilation drops come in, those tend to burn, that you're not going to feel it. They put the dilation drops in, which again feel very cold, and then without you even knowing it, your pupils will begin to dilate. Why do they have to dilate your pupils? Well, first of all, the pupil is the part of the eye that constricts and widens to allow light in. Obviously, the more light you have in a room, the more constricted your pupil will be, and the less light, the more dilated it will be. So they want to dilate that. They put you in a dark room, and they want to dilate that fully open, almost as big as your iris, because that's the only way that the ophthalmologist can take their special device or their it almost looks like a headlamp, and be able to look directly through your eyes and take pictures of your retina and examine your retinas through their machines in order to see if there's any damage to those blood vessels or the back of the eye or the optic nerve, etc. So that's why they have to dilate your eyes. So then they dilate your eyes, and then you wait probably 20 minutes, and then the ophthalmologist comes in, talks to you all about your results, tells you if you need glasses. I don't need glasses. I didn't need glasses at that time. Everything was good and dandy. Because my ophthalmologist has a daughter with type 1 diabetes. She did tell me this. For those of you that have diabetes, that watch this video, especially type 1, she said if you keep your A1Cs consistently under 6.5% for a long period of time, she said the odds of you having bad eye problems or damage down the road are very minimal. I don't know if she's read studies or have seen clinical research done when she was in ophthalmology school. I have no clue. But I would say that's a pretty accurate representation, because obviously like a 6.5 would be like an average blood sugar of like, what, 140? And even some non-diabetics can have their blood sugars in the 140s depending on their diet, depending on their lifestyle, etc. So that kind of makes sense to me that anything less than 6.5% is going to be good as far as not having those high sugars damage the blood vessels in the back of the eye and in the retina. So obviously they're going to come in, they're going to put some sort of headgear on, they're going to sit down in a chair and have you rest your chin again on this machine-like device, and then they're going to look right through your retinas. They might put you up to a machine too that will snap a few pictures so they can look at digital pictures as well. And after that's done, they have you look up, and they're going to have you look in so many different directions so that they can take a look at your lenses, that they can take a look at your pupils, your iris, your sclera, and make sure none of that is wonky and that your eyes and stuff are going to be working. I did forget to mention this too. The optic tech will shine a light in your eye to make sure that your pupils do dilate and react. Obviously, you cannot do it when you're with the ophthalmologist, because at this point your eyes are dilated medically, and you can't really undo that until the dilation solution wears off. So they go through all that. Like I said, if you keep an A1C under 6.5%, your odds of having diabetic complications with your eyes are pretty minimal. That's what she told me anyways. Oh, she did say that, make sure you have someone drive you home, and that your close-up vision is going to be really fuzzy for a while. It was fuzzy for me for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but my eyes took about 6 hours to undilate, which was rather weird to me. But very pleased to know I did not have any eye damage. I did, my A1C at diagnosis was 12.7, which is an average blood sugar of 318. Very, very high, very, very dangerous. That's very common, though, with a type 1. She said her daughter's was about that same level when she was diagnosed. She said it's not really an issue as long as you don't stay at those levels for very long. And now my A1C, as of October, I had dropped my A1C to 6.2. My second A1C, I will get my third A1C come in this end of January or beginning of February. I'm thinking it's going to be around the same or maybe a little lower, because I do have the Dexcom now, and I'm able to correct really nasty blood sugars before they get really out of whack, or before things go dangerously high to the point where it could be causing damage. So obviously they're going to tell you if you have any retinopathy, any damage they can see, and if that's the case, you're probably going to come back within 3 to 6 months and have that reevaluated. She did also tell me that type 1s are unlikely to have eye damage at the beginning. She said if you don't control your sugars, it's probably going to take handfuls of years before you have eye problems. She said most of the times the type 2s are going to have eye damage, because obviously type 2 is a more gradual progressing type of diabetes, and she said they really don't realize that they have a problem until their blood sugars have been high and have already done done some damage to their eyes. So she said it's kind of She said, you don't want type 1 diabetes. It's not a fun disease. She said, but at least you have the type of diabetes that doesn't really cause issues at the very beginning. And if you can continue to manage things, you're not going to have many issues, or very unlikely to have any issues in the future. So, that being said, if you guys are scared to have your eyes looked at, I was kind of freaked out because I've always had good vision my whole life. My vision is still perfect. I do not have vision damage whatsoever from my diabetes. I'm very lucky. Very lucky to still have 20/20 vision and not have to wear glasses. It's not painful. It's a little irritating and annoying to have so many devices up in your face, but it's so temporary that it's so worth the effort to know that there's not a problem. And the problem is too with eyes, you're really not going to have any symptoms if there is a little bit of retinopathy, if there is some damage already happening. You're not going to be able to feel that, or you're not going to have symptoms. It's not until you progress later into those damages that you're going to see blurry vision and floaters and all that. So the beauty of going to one of these is that they can catch something before it gets to the point where it is causing damage and you are getting symptoms. If they don't find any damage, like in my instance, I go back the following year. Most insurance plans do cover one fully dilated eye exam every year, especially for us diabetics. It is very necessary in order for us to live our best life to have these done. So I don't go back until September now of this coming year, so it's been a few months since I had my first one done. She did ask me a couple times too. She asked me from my diagnosis back in July to that time in September. She had asked me if I had any vision changes as one of my signs of diabetes or warning signs. I said no. I said, but I do remember one thing. I said about a week and a half after I was diagnosed and was getting myself re-regulated, I said I was sitting outside and all of a sudden my vision went blurry and it went back to normal. And she told me that this is a very normal thing. She said your lenses actually do bend and flex differently when your blood sugars are high. They kind of bend and go in a quirky shape because that's how your lenses react to high blood sugar. She said that blurry vision was probably your lens going back to its normal shape or state after your blood sugars came down. She goes, your body kind of got used to riding these higher blood sugars, and now that your blood sugars have become normalized, you're going to notice that. And she said, that should be temporary. I said, I only had it happen to me one time in August, and I said, I have not had it since. She said, that is very normal. Don't worry about it. She said, as long as you're not having blurry vision or I don't see any signs of damage, you should be fine. So if that was the case, that was it. Like I said, with any doctor, please find one that you like. If you don't like this certain person, go find another one. There are more doctors than just one out there. I'm just lucky to know that she's in network for my insurance. Obviously, sometimes we feel like we're constricted based upon what our insurance covers in network. I am sorry if you hear somebody sneezing. That is my cat over there. He is sneezing and staring at me right now, which is rather interesting. Okay. Anyways, find somebody that you like and hope to God that they're in network, or at least if it's only a once-a-year thing, you probably could pay a little out of pocket. To me, our health is more important than money. Please find somebody that you trust and that you think cares about you and treats you as a person. And even better if you can find somebody who's directly related to a type 1 diabetic, like her daughter has it. Her daughter's been living with it for about 2 years. Her daughter's 15. Her daughter was diagnosed at 13. So at least I had somebody that was very educated on the subject. She actually does specialize more with the diabetics and their eyes too, and thinks it's very important that diabetics get eye health. So I think that's all I can really say about what to expect at your diabetic eye exam, kind of how mine went, and what to do about calming your fears. Like I said, to me, it's worth having that discomfort of having all these machines in your eyes and all these drops in your eyes to know if there's any damage, because the scary thing, like I said, with eyes is you're not going to notice any symptoms until things are probably too late to fix. So anyways, I hope this video helped and you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Once I hit 100 subscribers, I will be sharing my diabetes diagnosis story. Until next week for more videos, take care, God bless, be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. And go get your eyes checked if you haven't already. You won't regret it. Bye, everyone.